Welcome to Talking Halo. It's Jared Timms. It's Jared Timms. No,
Whoa.
let's Derek Ciapola with Jared Timms and Nate Green. What a day. I'm in the middle of a snowstorm out here and totally off my game all day long. I actually asked the guys a crazy question before the show started, one that I should have known, but I'm way off. So I could ask Nate and Jared to help me through this. But we're here to talk Angels baseball. Guys, how you doing?
I am Derek Ciapola, joined by Jared Timms. Sorry, I had to. Now I'm doing pretty good. We just got through our snowstorm here. I probably not as much as snow as you guys are getting, but got a foot, which is a lot for me. So it's been cold, but starting to melt now. Nate, what's up?
I don't know what snow is. Haven't seen snow since college, but yeah, so doing well. Sorry for you guys in your snow and cold.
Snow and cold and snow and cold. Oh yeah, we're good though because it's about to warm up. The hot stove heating up a little more each day, used for other teams, maybe not our team. So I guess right away, some news out there. Hunter Dozier, minor league contract. Gotta ask, guys, how you feeling?
It's news.
It's
Something to
news.
talk about. No, this is what Nate and I have been asking for this entire time. Just get some guys that have major league experience. And Hunter Dozier actually decent major league experience. He had a 130 WRC plus 1 year. Played, he's getting a little bit older. I think
123.
120. Hey man, I rounded up. I was close. I think he had a 124 OPS plus is when I looked it up. But
Gotcha.
but yeah, no, it's huge. Somebody who can play around all around, play a little first base, play some outfield, I think as well. So we'll see. It's depth, right? I mean, if you add another first baseman here, that was one thing I did want to kind of bring up is Dozier can play first base. You have Evan White. You added in Francisco Mejia as well. You got a lot of options at first base. You start wondering, do they fully trust Nolan Shanwell at first base too? So
You forgot Alfonso Rivas
yeah,
and
Rivas as
Brandon
well. Sorry.
and,
Yeah.
and Drury. Like there's a bunch.
But do you trust Nolan Shanwell at first base? Starts to be the question, right? It's interesting.
I, I don't think that's where this is going. I think his primary position is third base. Anthony Rendon has played, 45 games max in a season. He plays third base. A plus B equals C. Like, let's be honest here. Um, so I actually am super excited about the signing. I know that's crazy. People are going to be like, "Hey, Nate's excited about something." But this is what I've been asking for. Like, this AAA roster looks like a bad major league roster, which is what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like Oakland A's type of team where you're like, okay, we know who this guy is. Really shouldn't be in the big leagues type of thing. But at least I don't have to see a guy get called up like Kevin Padlo, where it's like, okay, the guy's played 7 career big league games and we're expecting to make a playoff run with a guy who's played 7 big league games. Like, it's just not reasonable. It's not realistic. So I'm excited to see Dozier. Like you said, he had 2 really good years. His last 3 have been really, really bad, but get him out of Kansas City. Who knows? Um, it just is interesting, right? Like, he can play third base, he can play first, he can play corner outfield. Like, he's a guy where, kind of like Jake Lamb last year, where it was like, well, there's a chance that he could play well and be a decent bench option for this team. So I like the signing. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially with the Angels and with Rendon being, you know, 45 game a year type of guy the last couple of years. You're going to need guys to play there, whether it's Dozier, whether it's Drury, whether it's fill in the blank with who else you want to put there. But I think it makes a lot of sense.
What do you got for it, Derek?
I'm indifferent. I'm glad they got bench help, but I'm overall very unenthused about the Angels offseason in general. Not because of Shohei, like we killed that topic over and over again, and I think we all kind of figured that was coming. But there really hasn't been any reason to look forward to Angels baseball in 2024, other than the fact that at least there's baseball in 2024. And you know, so okay, great. They got a bench guy. Wonderful. Yay. At this point, I just need to know more about what this team, what their actual vision is, and I actually kind of feel bad for for Washington because I believe he's a very good manager on that scope. It's a very good hire, but what kind of team are they trying to put around him? And automatically are they setting the odds against their new hire when they should be trying to build something for him to manage there? And because they've been so quiet across the board as to what they're doing, you hear grumblings here, you hear grumblings there, nothing ever pans out. You just don't know. So I'm sorry, I'm not excited about Dozier. I'm not excited if well, we'll address it in a minute. If Duval signs, that's a nice signing, but I'm not super excited about that. It tells you something, but you know, what is the vision of this franchise? I used to know, I used to think I knew anyways, and now here we are, 10 years with no playoffs, and I sound probably like Nate, like a Debbie Downer here, but it's a realistic feeling.
No, I totally get it. That 100%. I totally understand. I think everybody kind of understands. Um, I'll say this. The one the one thing the Angels had been missing in the past is they were one they were a Mike Trout, a Shohei Ohtani, and Anthony Rendon away, injury away from like not contending, right? And that happened every single year. Like it's nice to see some depth where, if somebody does get hurt, you have somebody to bring up and it's like, well, you're okay with them playing 30 games. I know these aren't the sexy signings that everybody wants. This isn't Blake Snell, this isn't Cody Bellinger, this isn't Shohei Ohtani, but these are the type of signings that make teams playoff contenders at the end of the season. Not saying the Angels are going to be a playoff contender, but these are the signings that if somebody does get hurt and misses some time, that you don't fall too far behind. And like Nate said, you don't have to bring up a Kevin Padlo and start him right off the bat. Like same thing goes with the bullpen. If the Angels need to reach down into the bullpen, you can go get a decent arm down there. To an extent, rather than being like, well, let's go play the waiver wire or something like that. So I understand it. It's not a sexy signing. It really isn't. However, it's a nice signing to have, especially, if he plays well in spring. It could be that Jake Lamb type of signing where signs a minor league deal and makes the camp out of spring. So sexy, no. Needed, absolutely.
Nate?
And for you, Derek, I totally get where you're coming from just because you're talking about the direction of this team. You sign Ron Washington, an older guy who's been around the game a long time. You signed him to a 2-year deal. Kind of feels like this has got to be a quick thing because you're not signing a 30, 40-year-old to take over for hopefully 10 years. You're signing a guy who's up there in age in his late 60s, early 70s. He's probably got 2-3 years before he wants to call it quits. And so this has got to be quick. But I think personally, and I've said this a lot, I think Artie Moreno's on his way out. I think he is looking to sell this team. And I think that it's really hard to have a direction when you're getting a new owner. And I think Artie Moreno is reading the writing on the wall and going, you know what, like it's time to sell. I could have sold at an all-time high a couple of years ago. It's still worth more than what I bought it for, so I'm still going to make some money on this. I'll sell it, and then the next guy will bring his own direction, whether that's a Blake Snell, whether that's a Cody Bellinger, or if it gets into the season, maybe he does some other things, trades a Mike Trout or things like that. So that's why I think we haven't seen a direction that you're looking for.
Then sell him. That's the whole
I
problem.
think he is trying. I think he is trying.
But well, what was it? 2 years ago, he put the whole word out. A year ago, we're exploring selling the team. Blah blah. Listen, to me, business owner kind of guy, I'm thinking you want maximum value. Well, you blew it when you had maximum value, but the best way from this point forward to have maximum value is to have a team that's built to win, or at least show that there's something there. You're depressing the entire fan base right now. Who actually wants to go watch the Angels this year right now?
Not too
I
many
can't
people.
think of many
But
people who do. Well, of course you do. And to a degree, I do because I'm an Angels fan. But I'm I typically go see them play 6 times a year.
I think I think
I
the
will
thing,
have the opportunity this year to go see him 9. I'll probably see him twice this year. Why? Because I'm not wanting to watch this. I'm tired of the lack of direction. I'm tired, and I can't be the only fan out there that way. I can't be the
I
only
mean,
person thinking, it's called fan apathy. And until fans actually start saying, listen, I'm not putting money in this garbage anymore. I'm not putting money in your pocket. We're going to keep getting the same stuff. This definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And we keep feeding that by keep going to the games and supporting this crap. So you want vision from the team? We'll make them show you. Houston did this years ago. The Astros did it right. They told their fans, we are rebuilding. We're shutting everything down and we are selling off and we're going into this. And they rebuilt and they've won a couple World Series since.
to be fair, looking at teams that have been selling, they typically let the new owner do what he wants. Like you look at the Juan Soto, the Washington Nationals are trying to sell as well. Like they're not like they don't want to bring a new owner in and make them the bad guy. Like, oh hey, you've got to trade Mike Trout, or oh hey, you've got to trade this guy. What if the new owners come in going, I don't want a Blake Snell, I don't want a Cody Bellinger, and you might say, why wouldn't they want those guys? Because they're good players. Maybe the owner doesn't want those type of players. Like it could be one of those things. So I think that a clean slate is a little bit easier for an owner because they don't have to get their hands dirty and make some of the trades that maybe Artie would get killed for trading Mike Trout. Like same thing we've said the last couple of years, trying to trade Shohei Ohtani. We've wanted that trade for 3 years, and we've said, is there a realistic Shohei Ohtani trade that makes sense? Probably not, but you have to trade him. Now you look like idiots for not trading him, but that's kind of why I think that Artie's trying to keep it low profile, get rid of the team, and then let the new guy come in and do whatever he wants.
Speaking of Trout, and just moving forward here, is it time to move him out of center field? Jared?
I think so.
I think it helps. I think it helps him in the long run. I really do think it does. It keeps him healthier. I think this year in particular, like you're able to DH him a little bit more. So you're not saying Shohei Ohtani's that guy that's DHing 162 games out of the year or whatever it is. You're able to DH him a little bit more. It's going to be nice to not see just a norm like an everyday DH. You can put Rendon in that spot. Same kind of issue. Jury will probably take that spot a lot of the time, but as far as Trout goes, I think you have to start considering it. But at the end of the day, it ends up being up to Mike. Like Mike knows himself better than anything. And once he thinks that it's time, it'll be time. But if the Angels were in a different spot and we were talking about, hey, the Angels are competing this year, and it comes down to like, maybe the Angels could use a little bit of help in defensively in center field. I'd be like, yeah, I think it's time. But right now, where the Angels are at, Mike Trout in center field doesn't hurt anything. He's probably more valuable as a center fielder. I know he's an average defender. It's not an easy transition to go to a corner. The ball comes off the bat differently than center field is, and he's played center field his entire life. So, yeah, it'll definitely be a transition for him. But you have to start considering it at some point, right?
Yeah, of course. I think it's time now. You're saying you're in one sentence you're saying he's a great athlete and can handle center field, and the next sentence saying it's going to be hard for him to learn to play right field. Like, give me a break. The dude's good. He'll be fine in a corner outfield spot. I'm not worried
Maybe
about
it's not
that.
an easy transition. It's like playing first base. First base
Oh
is
my!
easy.
Stop it! Stop it! It's an outfield spot. Catch the fly ball. It's not hard.
I'm with Nate on this. He's a baseball player. He's been playing all of his life. You can adjust quickly.
Whether he's playing, he's played shortstop, he's played center, he's pitched, like he's fine. He's an athlete. He'll be fine moving over. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to move off the outfield right now. He's on the cusp of being called injury prone from a lot of people over the last couple of years. And I always go back to the story of Ichiro Suzuki, signs with the Mariners. Everyone's planning on him playing center field, and Ichiro goes, "No, I'm playing right field." And he changes it because he wants to play right field because he knows it's better for him. He's going to be able to play more games. He's going to be able to do a lot more things for the team. playing right field. Now, whether Trout plays right or left, it doesn't matter to me. But I think it makes a whole lot more sense for Mike Trout to be playing left field for 150 games than playing center field for 85 games. So if there's a time to move him off, I think it's now, because if you start to move him off at age 35, 36, 37, the Angels might already be done by then. Like his career could be already past him, where it's like it's not really helping the Angels. So I think it's a good time to bring in a center fielder right now, get better defensively, and who knows, maybe move a guy for pitching, because the Angels could have a surplus in the outfield if you do that.
I think, I'm in agreement with you, Nate, especially like you've been around the game long enough. When you've been there, done that, you can move a guy. He can adjust, and it's not like they're playing little league here. The thing also is this, and the bite back you might get from someone is saying, well, wait a minute, he didn't get hurt in the outfield last year. He got hurt at the plate. That's how he with broken hamate. I would venture to say, though, look at the other injuries on the base pads. I mean, it's just wear and tear on the body. You want to reduce the wear and tear on the body. And if you really want him around, well, let me pause. I'm going to backtrack. Let me ask you guys a question. In your opinion, right now, with what he's done, all of his numbers, is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. First ballot.
First ballot.
First ballot.
Yeah.
If Ken
I'm
Griffey,
not so sure.
Ken Griffey was first ballot Hall of Famer. Trout's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Ken Griffey hit like 600 runs, Sam. Come on. It's not the same.
But you can look at the WAR and say Mike Trout's a better player than Ken Griffey Jr. just based off of WAR.
I don't disagree, but WAR is not the qualifier. Okay. I'm just taking a step back.
Neither's home runs, though.
Don't kill the messenger. Neither's home runs. You're right. All right. But overall, hitting his peak before age 30, hasn't done jack in 3 years. You leave enough space and time for writers to lose track of that first 10 years, and all of a sudden he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay. You give him a chance to stay healthy, and all of a sudden he'll produce, right? That's what we believe. That's what we believe. If we move him to first base or wherever, or in left field or right field, wherever it's going to be, he'll stay healthier and be able to produce more. In my view, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. In my view, he's not quite there overall yet, even though we all know talent-wise he is. You still have to produce the numbers. Well, he's got to stay healthy to do it. So let's just say I'm wrong. I mean, let's just say I'm right in my view that he's not. It's not necessarily a given. You want it to be a given, and if I'm him, I want it to be a given. Then I'm in the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna be in the Hall of Fame one day. How do I preserve my career and ensure the longevity to where, when the time comes, I have the spot in history that I deserve? I got to move to left field, right field, first base. It's a no-brainer. But will he see it as an athlete with pride and competitiveness that he has?
That's the one thing that worries me about us saying, well, Mike's going to be the one to tell us. Like, how many times in history has that happened, where it's like, oh, you know what, this athlete's going to tell us it's his time, and you bring up like a Peyton Manning, like, oh, Peyton will tell us it's time. Peyton was he wanted to stay that extra year, one more time. He wants to continue to keep trying. Like, that happens all the time in sports, where we're like, oh, the athlete will know. It's usually a year or two late before the athlete realizes their time has passed. Why not get to it a year early? It might be a year earlier. It might be right on time. Who knows? But why not try and get ahead of the problem? Because it's going to help the Angels long term, moving into a corner, because now you know there's a problem in center field. We always talk about building up the middle. It's easy to move guys. We've talked about this all the time. Easy to move guys, whether it's center fielders moving to a corner, shortstops moving to second. Why not now? Like, go develop up the middle. Whether it's going to get a free agent who plays up the middle or going to draft up the middle in the next draft, the Angels need to start doing that, because this team isn't good enough right now. And is Taylor Ward really the answer in left field? Maybe. could we be better trading Taylor Ward and moving Trout to a corner and accumulating more pitching and guys up the middle? Probably. So I just don't understand why this is that big of a deal. Like it doesn't have to be.
Jared?
I was just looking stats up. They're both in their like Griffey played 13 seasons with the Mariners. Trout just finishes age 13 season or his 13th season. Very similar numbers up the middle there between them, and then we know how they both fell off. In fact, Trout has played 53 games in 2020. He played 36 games in 21. He played 119, 22, and last year he played 82 games. So I'd say pound for pound, Mike Trout's a better player than King Griffey Jr. But that's just opinion based. I'm sure anybody can argue anything. Same thing like Mickey Mantle. Same basic principle there. Like all three of those guys, three of the best players of all time. Three guys who got hurt and couldn't finish their careers to the best of their ability to be probably the best player, one of the best players of all time. So yeah, you need a replacement in center field if you're going to do it. Is it Mickey Moniak? I guess maybe. Is it Nelson Rada a couple years down the line? Maybe. Is it Cody Bellinger? Maybe. I don't know, but again, I don't know if the Angels are in that spot to move Mike Trout, but you would think you start having conversations here eventually. So we'll see.
You look at Griffey's numbers, okay, and when you actually look at his history, there in terms of their injury history, it starts getting kind of similar here. When Griffey turned 31, 111 games, 2265 for home runs or RBIs, and the following year 8, 13, 20. But here's the kicker. Age 35 year, 35 home runs, 92 RBIs, 27 home runs, 72 RBIs, 30 home runs, 93 RBIs. At age 37, he picked it up later in his career. All I'm saying in the end, to ensure the Hall of Fame status that any one of us would argue Trout deserves, you want him healthy to be able to pick back up those numbers. I don't think he'll ever reach the same numbers he had at age 27, 28, neither did Griffey. But 35, 92, 301 batting average, that's good enough. 27 home runs, 80 RBIs, that's good enough. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Get him out of center field. Ensure that longevity. At least try to. Hopefully you can see that.
Yeah, and for all intents and purposes, Trout probably turns into a Nelson Cruz type of player who can hit 40 home runs in his mid to late 30s. Like that makes a lot of sense to me right off the bat. So, I mean, if that's what Trout is, playing right field or DHing, I'm all for it. I'm sure some people out there are going to point out that Mike Trout's numbers as a DH, and do those scare you? Sure. But again, you guys will bring up the athlete aspect of it. It's a different game when you're just sitting there DHing. It took Shohei Ohtani some time too to just sit there and DH, right? Like every dude's freaking out for a year when he was batting 190 and didn't think that he was gonna pitch again, didn't think he was gonna hit anymore either. And then next year he comes out and wins the MVP or wins comeback player of the year. I don't know exactly what he won, but the Angels benched Shohei Ohtani. They didn't let him DH for a little while there at the end of the season when he wasn't doing well. So it's again a transition. You can bring up the athlete aspect all day, but sitting on the bench and just going and hitting, a little bit different.
Different mentality, sure.
Yeah.
But when that's your only role, then you can focus on hitting. After a while, I would say you're right. You probably will see an uptick in his hitting. I'm not worried about it. Last thing, guys, Adam Duvall. We keep hearing those rumblings. I think he's a fit. Do you, Nate?
I'd like to see Kike Hernandez. Sorry, go ahead, Nate.
I don't think he fits this team, honestly. They're very, very right-handed. He's an outfielder, and he's right-handed. Like, yeah, he can play center field in a pinch. Mickey Moniak can play center field in a pinch. Taylor Ward has played center field in a pinch. Joe Adell might even be able to play center field in a pinch. But I think we need to get more left-handed. We need more power. Yes, he brings some right-handed power, but we have that. Like he is Taylor Ward. We can deal with that. I just would like to see the Angels go a little bit different direction, get left-handed power, but that's just me.
There's a lot of
Sure.
left-handed power out there.
There is.
You can't you can't keep like pushing not Shohei, Cody Bellinger. You can't. I mean, you can all you want, but
Is Jock Peterson not left-handed power?
sure.
Okay.
But you're taking up the DH spot there at that point. You're
Jock Peterson can play a corner.
playing very unathletic at that point. So
Jock
no, it's fine.
Peterson can play a corner.
I don't disagree with you. They need a left-handed bat. You need somebody that can also play a little bit of infield, play a little bit of outfield. Is that Duvall? You know, Jerkson Profar is still a free agent. Like I said, Kike Hernandez is that guy. Tony Kemp is another guy. You need some role players right now that can kind of play all over the diamond. You know, John would probably say David Fletcher would probably be that guy. So we'll we'll wait and see. We'll wait.
We gotta
and
get
see.
John back on the show.
Cool with me. I'm all
Miss
for it.
John.
Yeah. So, but again, you need to get a little better offensively. If it's Adam Duvall and on a 1-year deal that you think you can trade at the deadline, if you're not playing well, you know, like it's fine. Like that was
What
my
are you getting
thing.
for that?
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I don't. Do I think he's just a long-term solution? No. 1-year deal. Maybe by then they
What
sell
do you
the team.
What are you getting for that at the deadline if he's playing well?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at that point. Like you're getting something
New
in return.
bodies.
It could be a 26-year-old or a reliever, but at least you're getting something back. At least you have a plan. You know, Jansen, sure. Like, are you upset if you're getting Jansen Junk back? Absolutely not. Like, you get 4 years of Jansen Junk. Like, cool with me. You know, like you paid $10 million for Adam Duvall or whatever that price tag may be. You trade him at the deadline. Like that's been my thing. You know, if you want to go build, you want to go build the right way. Go sign a big name. Go sign Cody Bellinger. We talked about Yamamoto, but then go sign a bunch of 1-year guys because this is not the window. Go start building that farm system back up again. You don't have a farm system either, by the way. So you gotta do something. You don't have a farm system. You have a team that Nate, you think is going to win 70 games. I mean, they probably a 500 team if they stay healthy. So yeah, you gotta have your identity. You gotta figure it out. And
I'm just
you have a
saying.
Hall of Fame manager too, by the way. Like Ron Washington, probably going to the Hall of Fame for how long he's been in the majors in the major leagues for. I mean, he's pushing 50 years of professional baseball. Like it's not a lot of guys can say that. So yeah.
Let's just play the typical Angel game, though, right? You sign him to a 1-year deal. Raul Ibanez, he hits 170. He ends up getting DFA'd. Like that's just worst case scenario. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, like, why not get someone who fits the mold of what you need more than just going to get a guy on a 1-year deal because that's what you have to do. I just he doesn't make sense to me.
Nate, listen. You've been talking about Cody Bellinger. You want
Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario.
So
I mean, you could throw guys out.
I want Cody Bellinger too. I mean, I think he'd be right there. Guy, his market isn't moving right now. Maybe by the end of the week it is, but you know, why would Cody Bellinger want to come play here? Honestly,
Southern California. His dad played for the Angels. Like he's already got his ring. He doesn't need a ring. He wants his money.
Okay.
Even though his ring is Mickey Mouse ring, but like,
will they pay him?
That's the thing. Like, he's gonna go wherever they pay him. So I don't know. There's one last thing of news, by the way, just popped up. I don't know if it is real. I am just saying it is a rumor, so do not quote me on this. But there is a rumor out there that Robert Stevenson is going to join the Angels on a 3-year, $30 million deal. No. Not official, no sources yet. Do not believe it.
Whoa,
but
who? I didn't catch you.
But I am going to throw it out there. Is it what you guys think? Robert Stevenson, relief pitcher from Tampa Bay, 3 years, $30 million is the guesstimated contract. Anyone have an opinion?
I'm looking for a source.
Well, I know there are no sources, so I'm just saying because we're talking rumors, we might as well throw that rumor out there.
Talk about it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We'll talk about it next podcast.
But why not now? You got 10 minutes. Why not? All right, never mind.
I just wanted to throw it out there, see if anyone had any opinions.
3 years for a reliever?
Yeah, that would be the number.
No.
I don't even
Haven't we
believe.
been down this road before?
Oh, of course.
No. We've been down this road before. Hey, before we do go, in case anybody is a listener and played fantasy baseball with us last year, fantasy baseball did reopen. I did renew the leagues we have. And if anybody else would like to play fantasy baseball with us, send us an email at talkinghalos@gmail.com or message me or the Talking Halos Twitter account and we'll get you in there. How'd you guys do last year?
I didn't play.
You tapped out. I know that. Nate played well.
Towards
Jared
the
tapped.
end.
You gonna tap out this year too, Jared?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Too good at it. Anyways, let us know. Again, talkinghalos@gmail.com. You can direct message me on Twitter, X, or the Talking Halos account, and we'll get you in. If not, we'll just keep the same links we have. That's all I got. Jerry, got anything else?
Nope.
Nate?
Nope.
All right. Until next time, we're out of here.